this old bakery that I've been frequenting for the last couple of years, I found out that there's a odd construction in the middle between these two buildings, and I made myself a little hidey hole for the cold nights. I made a little makeshift oven behind where they have their oven in the bakery, and I just share their chimney so that it's not conspicuous and I don't start anything on fire.
Yeah, like there's a small crack in the wall, and that wall is big enough for you to have your bricks kind of laid in order together. Yeah. So you throw some kindling in there, and like this area kind of illuminates, with this tarps, kind of rooftop over top that kind of keeps the rain, the moisture off from the eave. You see Alindawn and Zeema, kind of getting comfortable in the corner as Alindawn, kind of puts Zeema to rest. And you stoke the fires of this furnace, kind of illuminating and warming the space. You look in each corner, hoping, for an individual to be sitting there, to be waiting for you, and he's not.
All right, you guys stay comfortable. I'm gonna go out and take a look around. I need to see if I can find Mateo. Make sure he didn't get.
Okay. As Thadius, exits this little cubby, you lay Zeema to rest, and Zeema's head goes down on your backpack as you kind of stand over her protectively, thinking about what more for you is within the city. What was supposed to be a quick stop has now been a terrible detour.
Yeah.
And you see Zeema's, kind of drift into slumber, and as she kind of waves her hand across her face, almost like she's trying to wave a sense or like a smell away from her face as she drifts into slumber. Zeema, how was your sleep? As you lay there as comfortably as you can be in a back alley between two buildings.
Troubled. There's just too much going on in her mind.
Yeah.
Is he still okay? Can I find him?
And you'd be referring to your brother Abialo, right?
Yes. And within that also, probably also thinking, I hope my mother isn't worrying too much.
You say your mother, and your mind goes to sandwiches on a cutting board, and your mother humming, attuned to herself as she's cutting the crusts off this bread, putting them into some paper wrapping, and folding, 3 or 4 sandwiches, putting them aside.
Probably wondering, what does all this mean for her life when she does go back? Will her life go back to as it was?
And then she takes these sandwiches and she puts them in a pack. And you see this pack is like, it's not just one pack, there's 3 packs there. And she's kind of, getting them all ready, almost as if for a journey.
Well, what was that I had felt earlier? Is because I never had that sort of feeling with another person before, at least not in that way.
Absolutely, and you see her with this knife that she was cutting, these sandwiches with, and then there's a struggle. Somebody is upon her, and she's got this knife and she's waving it, or she's waved this knife, into the air, and there's a pot of oil, kind of bubbling behind her. She was making like either cider or something on your small stove in the far corner of the room.
Probably drifts back to the thoughts of her brother again, and is he going to be all right when she does find her?
Absolutely. And the blade enters flesh. You can sense a body hitting the floor. This pot of oil, hitting the mattress, the single bed in the room, and the room igniting in flame. This door, swings open on 2 hinges, not 1. And you can see, there's this blistering heat and then this body being burnt within the confinements of this small room. And you wake from your slumber. You don't know how long it's been. It could have been 30 minutes. It could have been 8 hours. But what you do know is you feel rested. You feel, the energy back in your body. But you can smell smoke in your nostrils.
Oh my.
Thadius, you were looking for Mateo?
Mm-hmm.
Give me some flavor as you're kind of, wandering the streets as you've just left the confinements of this little hiding hole.
Well, he starts off his night with kind of like a frustrated confidence, like looking through the streets, Mateo would frequent these spots. You know, it's the middle of the night, and he starts to become a little bit less confident. And then he starts thinking, like, where could he possibly be? And then he becomes a little less confident. And as he keeps looking, he's like, I'm thinking, like, how he would think normally. Like, how would Mateo be reacting while he's not in the right state of mind?
And that's just it. He's not in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
You know, without a doubt, you've known him for years. You know, the two of you are running mates, right? Born on the streets and you know, forged by the streets. And for him, you know, not to be where he says he's going to be, you know, obviously something's up.
Yeah.
Give me a perception. It's probably at this point like 2 o'clock, 2:30, and 3 o'clock in the morning.
That would be a 6.
You can see figures like strolling the streets, but after half an hour, you realize that the streets are starting to fill with these zealots, these cultists, you know, looking, you know, and just, you know, kind of, even at this late hour, you know, they're out and you can sense something is horribly wrong.
All right, he'll work his way back then. He'll just have to hope that Mateo decided to go to the closest safe house that he could get to, and that's where he just bunkered in for the night.
Give me one more either perception or insight as before you round the final corner back to this hidey hole of yours.
19.
19. You do manage to catch just before you round the corner to the security of your space. You look over your shoulder and you see 2 of these tieflings, you know, kind of corner an individual. Looks like to be a drunkard, you know, coming out of a tavern or an inn. And they're kind of questioning him, and they're questioning him quite aggressively. You know, one's got him pinned up against the wall, and they seem to be taking a lot of his time. You know, they're really giving him a detailed description of something or other.
Probably getting fairly tired of being awake at this point. But I don't think I can pass up on the chance to get information. So he will. Even to get into that spot, there's probably enough of a small space that like a cat could get in if it wanted to.
Oh yeah, you mean like back into your hidey hole?
Yeah.
I think so. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to transform into a cat, street cat, and I'm going to get closer so I can hear what they're questioning this man about.
Okay. Do you speak Infernal again?
I do.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so give it some flavor. You slip on your ring and you change into an alley cat. And you work your way towards these 3 figures, 2 of them pretty much interrogating a drunkard.
He'll kind of like prop himself nice and close, and then he'll just, you know, do cat things.
Yeah.
Whip the fur on his leg, you know, spin around a couple, you know, strangers' legs.
Yeah, digging in the garbage can.
Hiss at this.
Yeah. And so, you get a couple, kicks, like, and you hear an infernal, to scatter, to get lost animal or whatever it be. And literally, in a nutshell, you hear these 2 tieflings, these cultists of the diviner, questioning this, we'll say he's a dwarf, as he's kind of exiting this tavern, worse for wear, with empty pockets. And they are giving this individual, this drunkard, a detailed description of the 3 of you. Literally down to every last detail.
Well, it's a good sign that they're not at least looking for Mateo.
Yeah.
So maybe he did get hidden somewhere. I will nonchalantly make my way back, and before I crawl into the hidey hole, I will definitely make sure that nobody's looking at the weird cat that's sitting. I don't care if I have to pretend to, clean spots that I can't reach as a humanoid.
All right then.
And then when people are like, ugh, then I'll just crawl away.
Yeah, the cleanest alley cat around. Yeah, you work your way back, towards, this hidey hole, and you just manage to kind of squeeze your way in, right? And you see Zeema, fitfully sleeping, not necessarily rolling around. Can you give it some flavor as you're kind of in this heated dream? And as Alindawn would probably be,
loosely just kind of keeping an eye, but trying to get as minimal rest as I can.
Kind of like a Gandalf with the wizard sleep, the one eye open. Yeah.
You see her laying back, and occasionally you see her head like turn a little bit to the side, and like maybe like her arm like raise a little bit as if she's trying to reach for something, and maybe like once every couple of minutes you hear like a single like half of a word muttered, but
Yeah, incoherently.
Yeah.
You betcha. And as you know, once again, you're probably exhausted at this point there, Thaddeus.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still in cat form, or are you gonna? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't generally turn off my animal forms once I'm in them. I just revert.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to be a cat and have a cat now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I can go curl into my own bed for a bit, and then
Yeah.
and then eventually when I just come back to my normal shape, then at least I'm in my safe space.
Absolutely.
It's a space that fits me
Exactly.
most of the time.
So comfy. So comfy.
I was gonna say he'd take 5 minutes out, even being exhausted. He'd kind of go like crawl up onto Zeema's chest and just kind of like warm her body.
Yeah, exactly. Feeling that the comfort of that breath, that solid rhythm, knowing that beat and battered, mentally scarred, at Zeema's core, she's still breathing. She's still there. She's still alive to see the next day.
And at this point, she needs a little bit more comfort than I need to worry about the extra 5 minutes of sleep.
Absolutely, yeah. So slumber comes across the three of you. How long are we taking a long rest?
I think so.
You guys wake up,
As
the
much as
fire's
we
still
can.
burning in the stove, and Thaddeus is passed out.
Yeah. So 8 hours pass at least. So we said it was roughly 4 o'clock. So that puts us at noon-ish. So let's say 11.
Sure. I mean, we dealt with a lot of stuff
Yeah.
yesterday.
Each of you give me perception checks, except for you, Zeema, at advantage.
Advantage.
12.
Even with advantage, only 6.
23.
23. See, Alindawn, you wake up, maybe the first to wake up, because you're sleeping with one eye open. You see Thaddeus and Zeema, sleep on the far side. There's this smell, that's kind of wafting to your nostrils. You can also hear the sounds of alarms, bells ringing, and voices screaming. And the smell, becomes clearly plain to the senses that there's a fire. And not just a fire, but a huge fire. As you poke maybe your head out of this, you look through one of these gaps, in the planking of this door. You see the eastern horizon, literally in flame and in smoke within the city.
Yeah, no, I haven't got a clue.
I imagine at this time both yourself, Thaddeus, and Zeema wake up, and once again, as Alindawn turns, you do a little, shake. To come out of your sleep. The two of you kind of beat him to the punch. But you can just see the concern in his face.
There's something's going on. There's a huge fire over on the eastern side of town.
Fire.
What side is the Bluebrooke family household on there, Zeema? Is it not on the eastern side?
The eastern side, yes.
Absolutely. Give me a Arcana check, maybe there, Zeema, at advantage.
That's better. 17.
17. Right away, your mind goes to the worst place possible. Like that's home. I mean, my it's not much of a home, but it is where I've grown up. And that's on the eastern side of the city. And as you try to reach out, psychically to your mom, there's an awkward feeling. It's something that's never been there before. A void, an emptiness.
Like nothing?
Nothing. Zero.
She would visibly like freak out. Like that is in a place in which I know pretty well is, at the very least close to where, she lives, and she can't feel anything.
Yeah, like there is literally there's always that sense of belonging, or that sense of welcome, or that lovingly presence in the back of your mind. Even with your brother, you share it, with him slightly, but not nearly as strong as you do with your mother. It's like stubbing your toe. The initial pain is gone, but a day later you can still feel that ache, right? That ache has always been in the back of your mind. There is no presence of your mom anymore. It simply vanished. Thadius and Alindawn, you hear the alarms, of the city. You can hear people calling for water. You can hear like the bucket brigade starting, as people are rushing eastwards. Kind of cussing under their breath. Don't allow it to the granaries, or don't allow it to get to this. Like how could this have happened? The smell of smoke becomes thick, in the air.
Okay.
Thaddeus will try and calm Zeema, like at least get her to be quiet. Because if there's lots of people running by making a lot of noise, it's going to get people to notice that there's something weird going on with this building.
Yeah.
We have to stay calm.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
That very well might be my home. Or right next to my home.
That could be possible. But there's something you both need to know. This morning when I was out looking for Mateo, I heard a couple of the Diviner's guards asking for 3 individuals that matched our descriptions. So they're looking for all 3 of us now.
There's a disaster going on right now. Maybe that's not going to be their concern at this moment.
Or it's a distraction to force us out.
At this point in time, unless you want to go to verify your mother's residence, I think it would be best if we all just left town for a while.
We definitely can't stay here. This
There's a
smoke is going to become a problem in this closed
small
area.
monastery about a week's travel away. About a day off the Sita, Python, and we could go there for a short period of time. Maybe gather. They do have some information there. They have a monastery, and we might be able to find some information about possibly where these ships were headed. I don't know, but think specifically for me is
You hear and you see Alindawn's lips flapping, but in your mind's mind, your heart of hearts, what is the one thing you want to do right now?
Well, that is my mother. If there's the potential that she is in ill straits, I don't want her to, be in harm's way. Yes, that might be what's best for us in terms of our own health, but there very well is people that are in danger, and one of them is somebody I care about. There's few people in this world I care about to that level, and
I understand.
And just to have that connection with.
Yeah.
Zeema has reached out psychically to both of you, has she not?
Yeah.
And you've felt that ping, that connection in the back of your head. And this is something that she has shared with this individual since birth, or since a young age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this it? You feel we need to go do this? Let's go do this.
I'm not going to leave her if I don't know she's in good health.
Then let's go. How is the best way we go about doing this? You know the city the best.
City-wise or not, everybody's moving around in panic. This isn't a normal daily traffic. People are running around. If they set this to draw you out specifically, and I wouldn't put it past the diviners to do something that perhaps was more targeted but got out of control.
Is there a way through the sewers to possibly get us to the area?
Give me an insight or a history.
History is probably my best. Let's see. Insight's my best. Out of those two, 13.
Sewers or back alleys. Those are probably your best options.
But I mean, most of the times, with the aqueducts and sewers that we would have for the walls and stuff like that, they'd probably be more towards the outside edge of the city.
You figure you could probably get close enough to to kind of to pass the majority of these patrols potentially that are out with the descriptions of the 3 of you. That might take a little longer. The back alleys, like the back of your hand.
I don't think it would take longer because of how congested everything is.
But it's also, there could be more of those flying creatures down there too that we would have to deal with.
There's risks either way.
Yeah.
This would be the fastest way. But your mother's house is more inside the buildings.
How far away is your the Bluebrooke family home from this area there, Zeema?
I wouldn't imagine it would be too far, hence why, there is enough panic to be sensed here of all places.
Like a 10-minute walk kind of thing like that?
I mean, if we're able to see this, the smoke in the distance that easily and hear people around, it might even be closer than that.
Yeah, let's say like a 10-minute walk, a 7-minute hike, kind of thing like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or an even shorter run.
Yeah, or like a 5-minute run.
All right, if that's what you want to do, we can do that. Be prepared for any kind of ambush. This is a trap. Because before I came here, when they were asking questions, there was nothing like this going on. So this is some fresh disaster.
Absolutely. Give me a history check again there, Zeema and Thadius.
History, you say?
Yes, please.
Just a regular?
21.
Yeah, just regular.
Only 5.
21?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Zeema, your mind is racing. Like once again, you hear your friends, trying to talk, logic or reason to you. There's only one thing right now, that you're concerned about, and that is your mother. Yeah. Home. And yourself there, Thadius. Yeah, fires aren't uncommon in Sea Dakota, but literally, the authorities, the city has, ways, to prevent fires, right? And ways to fight fires.
And there's river.
And exactly,
there.
This is a river city, right? And
which is suspicious, very suspicious.
Yeah, and once again, it is a wet city. Everything is covered with barnacles and bird crap. So it's not like it's a dry desert. And so for something like a fire, let alone a fire to erupt so quickly and violently, it doesn't sound like it was made by an accident.
Yeah.
Follow
you.
best.
Yeah, I would probably, you would know back alley, stuff, but I would know fastest route probably.
Cool, sounds good.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of looser boards on one of the sides, and I just with my one arm just push them forward, and they just topple forward, and I just rush through that gap.
Absolutely, yeah. You even have to duck a little bit, and you can feel a loose nail, kind of scrape the back of your neck, and it doesn't even register. You hold your side as it is bandaging, and you can feel, the wound, start to open up again. Give me a Constitution save.
Okay, this is 14.
As you exit this space, you really have to crouch down to get out from it there, and you can feel the bindings of these bandages, start to peel back, and you take yourself 9 points of slashing or piercing.
9.
Yeah, and you can literally feel the wound starting to open up again.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I get it. Take it easy. Okay.
I see Zeema leave like that, and I open the gate for the giant person. I mean,
Yes.
her bursting out of here is like watching a miniaturized Hulk dive through, but he takes up a lot of space. So
Yeah.
I'll be open the door. I'll be
Yeah.
please don't destroy the door. We would like to come back here eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
If the fire doesn't get here, but still, absolutely.
And then he'll stop and he'll pick up the 2 loosened piece of woods, and he'll kind of
Cover it back up.
yeah.
Sounds good. So, Zeema, with you taking the lead, we'll do a survival or investigation.
Okay. Okay. Probably an 18 survival then.
18 survival. Nice. Yeah. So give it some flavor as you briskly make it through the first couple blocks. Traveling at a decent pace as to not make your movement suspicious. And you guys can jump in to add any flavor.
Yeah, we're probably at a part of the city in which I would frequent every now and then, whether it's just because this is the route in which I go to get to the shoreline on particular days, or it's just, if like certain routes get busy, this is like a nice alternative. I just happen to know this route pretty well. So I just know like the best place to like stick close to the wall, or just like where it cuts a little bit faster.
Yeah, ducking in and out of the shadows as best as you can. You come across like a market square, and rather than going through the square, you kind of work your way around the perimeter, like kind of behind all the merchants. But yeah, you just kind of work your way around the mob, against the buildings in the general eastern direction towards home.
I was going to say, with Zeema kind of in a state of panic, she's probably diving through areas that aren't necessarily favorable to us.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of running in between the both of them, because you're not moving quite as fast.
No, I'm moving reasonably. Well, I'm doing insights myself just to make sure to try and stay out of the way of viewing eyes.
Yeah,
kind of falling behind?
Yeah.
So Thadius is kind of going across, and he'll be in between the two of them, keeping an eye on Zeema and keeping an eye on them. And he'll be she'll go through an area and dive like between a set of boxes that we can't get through.
Yep.
And I'll like go over top the boxes, and I'll kind of point.
Yeah, kind of lead direct. Yeah. As you see Alindawn, kind of falling behind. Like once again, like, there's some boxes that you kind of jump around and you just can't, you can't hurl it with your armament. And so you have to kind of backtrack a little bit and go around this merchant stall and come around. And of course, there's this crowd that you're going with the crowd, because people, well, I guess some...
Okay, no, I'm trying to blend in as best as I possibly can using my insight of people who's looking in my direction and just trying to stay hooded or as covered as best as possible.
Give me a stealth check.
Well, I did a great insight check, but let's see what stealth brings. Roll a nat 20 for my insight check.
Nice. Well, you gotta say that so I can put it on camera.
We'll rewind it and see it. Anyways, stealth is 2. That would be a 0.
A 0?
No, just a sec. I added, don't subtract it. 8.
An 8. So once again, you find yourself falling behind a little bit as you're looking around. And you said a nat 20 for your insight?
That's so a 31 insight, but yeah.
And Grant, you can see through all this chaos, these clumps of these tiefling cultists. And people aren't getting close to them. When you see like 2 or 3 of these cultists, kind of standing there, with prying eyes. Some of them even on top of carts or boxes. They're kind of scouring, the crowd looking. And you see a couple start to look in your direction. Not necessarily, of the 2 individuals that's, kind of taking off in front of you. Yeah. But they do see somebody heavily clad in armor, kind of working against the sway of the crowd, while people are trying to come westward.
Gotcha. All right, I'll try and remain hidden, or get hidden better.
So as you're as a good 2-3 minutes of kind of working your way up, at a brisk pace. Another couple minutes, you'll just be around the street, that the Bluebrooke home is on. Zeema and Thadius, both of you give me, we said survival or insight again.
Natural 20.
Nice. Too many 20s at this table.
Another natural 20.
Wow.
Nice. High five.
Okay, wow.
Do I get to roll a 20? Oh, I didn't roll a 20. Who earns? Give it some flavor as the 2 of you are literally like just around the corner from the Bluebrooke household. Literally, you can... the fire is there. Like your street and the 2 streets in front of it, Zeema, are ablaze. Give it some flavor as the 2 of you, get closer and closer, with all the smoke and all the heat and all that stuff, as people are either fleeing from danger or running into danger, to put it out.
Well, being at the taller vantage point and kind of like going over things, I would definitely see like the people that are working the hardest are probably the ones that live in the area. Mm-hmm. They're the ones at the front of the lines hurling buckets.
They have something to lose.
Yeah, from the other people that are kind of dragging from whatever this water source they can get their hands on.
Yeah, like animal water troughs, the wells. You see people coming out of their dwellings with wash basins, You see people with thick, heavy tarps quenching the fabric or the canvas with water, and just dropping it over embers as they're going onto these thatched roofs. And like the like literally some of these buildings made out of wicker. Yeah. Zeema?
Yeah, just she's gotten to the point in which she knows like she's at like the point in the city in which she could traverse it blind if she had to, and she just knows like every step that she needs to take, every easy movement, and it's probably getting easier just because there's so many less people here now, or at the very least people are not going to be in the way as often, and it just opens up that opportunity to just get there much faster, but also give her a moment to like have a quick glance around, and maybe I would see her here, like if she maybe she would be on the outskirts here, helping fight this.
Yeah, as you take a quick look, give it some flavor, both of you, as the heat and the smoke, within your lungs and your eyes. Like literally, as you can feel your eyes watering with pain.
Well, again, with me being higher than everybody else, I'm probably getting a good amount of smoke, and like I'm usually wearing a cloak while I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
So like I'm feeling the heat.
Give me a Constitution save.
6.
You get like this big waft of smoke, and it's like literally ash and ember, and you can just feel it burn, and like you've slept sometimes too close to this bakery oven, and you've woken up, realizing, okay, a little too close.
Yeah.
And that stung. This like literally burns from within. You take yourself 6 points of non-lethal.
Okay.
As you can literally feel the smoke enter your lungs.
I would definitely start to get down to a lower level then. Having dealt with smoke inhalation before, like I've realized that either I need to get low away from where the smoke was, or I would need to like cover my face with like a wet cloth or something to minimize breathing in the heat and the smoke.
Zeema?
Goodness, yeah. It's just perhaps just the flames that are building up in the region. Perhaps every now and then like a gust of wind just like pushes it out and like outreaches it towards a certain direction, and people kind of like topple over or fall back a bit, or just one of them runs away with trying to bat out their shoulder.
Yeah, like you see the tongues of flame literally lapping rooftop to rooftop. As the wind from the Sita kind of takes over the city. And literally you can just see the fires aren't necessarily at the base of the buildings, but there are a lot of them at the tops. And you see these buckets of water being hurled or tossed. Even a lot of these buildings are only one story, maybe two because they're double stacked. But like the liquid just isn't being able to quench the heat, the fire. Yeah. Do you, how close are you to the flames as you literally see your house, literally at the end of the block? And what's the condition of this building in flames?
The condition of the home? Well, goodness. If it was, I guess it depends. Wood, looking at it, I would recognize that as the start.
Yeah.
Well, then I assume in comparison, it's almost charred black.
Yeah, you can see, I wouldn't say the fire has surpassed it, but the fire has definitely been through. The fresh coat of whitewash paint, at the base of the building is all charred and peeled with black. You can see the beams, the strong foundation that your mom was always, proud of, that your brother, Bialo, helped kind of, erect the house as the three of you kind of built together. And literally, like the flames, still, around it, the smoke, kind of bellowing from within. In the one, simple window, the glass and the shutters, kind of thrown open as it was just this dark plume, this oily plume, kind of coming from within the window. How far back are you as you see the two of them duck around this corner, as you kind of go, get tied up with the crowd as you're going eastwards and they're going westward against you?
Yeah. Probably can't see her, and then he's between her and I. So I'm keeping a small, as best that I can on him so I don't lose him. I'm going to try and find a spot that's maybe an alleyway or something where I could hide. But before I make my run or towards that, use thaumaturgy to cause a window to blow up on one of the houses that are on fire.
Oh, that's cool.
And then over in another direction, the color of the fire to change to blue instead of orange for a while. Just
like intense heat.
Basically, yeah.
Because the hottest fire is blue, right?
Just basically to get some of the eyes off of me if they were kind of following me before I make my run to the alleyway.
Sounds good. So give me a performance.
I guess the spells are doing most of the work, but I'm just trying to do the sneak. I guess probably my stealth.
Give me a performance at a 10.
Okay.
DC 10, and if you pass that, we'll roll at stealth at advantage, which will be par for you. Yeah.
Stop rolling and it crit. For 15.
15. Yeah. So give us a flavor as this window bursts just off of these cultists, and as they both turn their heads, and then this fiery orange flame turns from orange to blue, to kind of intensify the heat.
So for me, it's just it's a verbal, so it's like burst, and I can say it under my breath, so that nobody's going to hear it too much, especially the ones up on the hill.
And there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of noise, right?
There's a lot of noise to cover it. As soon as that one goes off, then it's like fire. And it's just to get them looking in different directions as opposed to looking at me. And in that fraction of a second of a time, that's when I make my run.
Yeah, and towards this alley, right?
Towards the alley.
Yeah, and so there's this burst of this glass, and and then not just their eyes, but a lot of eyes turn to it, and then there's this smaller explosion of flame, further up in a building, northwards. And it seems like your distraction has worked. Give me stealth at par.
Okay. That funny.
Let's go.
Wow. And
Ching!
yeah, and give it some flavor as these three cultists, and not only the three that we're kind of cautious of. As you work your way to this alley, you see two other groups of three. Kind of work their way towards that area as well. Once again, it's clear that nobody wants anything to do with these individuals, and so there's literally like a space around them as they walk towards the distraction.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for myself, I just kind of get as low as I can to move people around as I'm making my way towards the alley, but you can feel them. It's just like they may have stopped for a moment to see what the noise was or to look at the fire, but they're also cognizant of this group of people that nobody wants to be around.
Yeah.
So they're staying away from that as much as possible.
Yeah, and you duck into this alleyway, and it's quite quiet. Once again, it looks like it's quite long, and it kind of turns to the right. Give me a history check. History or survival? Not 20. I see it from here. Yeah. Whether this is one of the alleys that you were kind of, that you've been exposed to earlier, when you were with Thadius and Zeema, or just that you've kind of put the math together in your head that the Dakota works on a grid system. You figure if you go down this alley, take a right, take a left, and take another right, you'll come up on the far side of Zeema Street.
Okay. And that's what my character will do as reasonably quick as possible.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Closing the gate and making sure it's invisible to the non-aware eyed. Making sure it's non-visible, to those that don't know it's there. Making sure it's visible to those who don't know it's there. There we go. Got it. And